Thank you all very much. I want to just briefly mention that the effort that we did at Chicano Park was a community effort, as Justin said. And when Greg called me and he said, let's do something, Greg Morales from MAPA, I said it's important that we do something right now, because we know that there's going to be two San Diegos like always. What happened a couple of days ago was, I don't know if I had a chance to tell Justin about this, but I was called in by NPR to do an interview. And all of a sudden I saw a bunch of commotion. I go, what's going on? And they go, the governor is going upstairs for a press conference. And I said, well, we can do the interview later then. I'm going to go upstairs and talk to the governor. So when Schwarzenegger went up there with the governor and the police chief and Bill Collender and Jerry Sanders and all the who's who of the political right, I went up there to tell them that they were wrong. And what happened was, when they started the discussion, the first question came, a softball question from their friends at the Union Tribune, and he said, I want to congratulate San Diego for the fantastic job that they've done in this fire. So I stood up and said, Governor, which San Diego are you talking about? Because the San Diego that I've been in, and that many of us in this room have been in, has not been tended to by this fire. When the 911 came out to the Rancho Peñasquitos community, where we were at, where we go almost every day to feed the migrants in the canyons, to be with them in the fields, Mercedes and Jaguars were pulling out, while our brothers and sisters were bent over picking tomatoes. There was no evacuation for the people in the fields. Nobody went there to tell them that the fires were coming. They continued to work. And when we spoke to the people in charge of those fields, they said they can voluntarily leave. And I said, do you think these people are going to voluntarily leave, that have crossed 2 or 3 borders to come here to provide for their families? They're not going to leave unless you close down the fields. And they would not close down the fields. So the people continued to work. So on Tuesday, we went back up there. Wednesday, we went back up there. We went up there with doctors. We had to evacuate people. We had to create our own shelter, because we were worried that something might happen if we took them to a public shelter. And Wednesday was the day. Wednesday was the day of infamy at Qualcomm Stadium. And we've been with Common Ground since yesterday. As a matter of fact, they might be coming in a little while. We've been with them all day. That's why I'm kind of running around a little racy still. We took them out to those fields this morning. We took them out to the canyons. They went out to Potrero, which is one of the abandoned areas where they haven't received dates, contrary to, of course, what the Union Tribune is saying. We're talking about which Potrero are they talking about, but the same thing. So what happened was, I told the governor, what you're doing is absolutely wrong. You're taking pictures at Qualcomm Stadium and the people that are at the Charger game. These people have not been tended to. Still to this day, we were there today. Nobody's gone out there besides some of the human rights activists to give them masks, to give them food. And thanks to the community and the call out, we had not 100 trucks, we had 500 trucks of supplies that went out. We had 10 the first day, on Monday, when it was just Greg and I, and then people started showing up. People started showing up, and thanks to the media, because NPR did an interview, and so did Univision early on. And it was curious because all of a sudden a bunch of our Anglo brothers and sisters came, and I said NPR, Latino brothers and sisters, and I said Univision. And then what we did was we called out to other media, and other media started putting the word out. And before you know it, we had a beautiful rainbow of colors like we have in this room right now. Justin and others showed up and said, hey, how can we help? And help they did, and it was very, very important. And I know that Martin's here with Activist San Diego. They're the ones that invited the people from New Orleans to come out here. And I know you called me a minute ago. I'm hoping they're on their way over here. We've been running around, and it's been a crazy day. But I told the governor that he should be ashamed of himself, because he's lying. And I saw that Terminator. I saw those guys with the guns and Collender and everything, and they were very upset because it blew their party apart. And what happened was that Bill Collender said, Enrique, we've been in those fields. And I said, you're a liar. You have not been in those fields. And they backed away right away. And I go, and then, if they do happen to try to leave, there's going to be a checkpoint, and they're going to ask them for their documents. But they're not going to have documents because you, governor, will not give them driver's licenses. And it was a free-for-all. And the governor got very upset. And I said, I don't care how upset you are. There's people dying out there. Usually 2 people die every day crossing the border. 4 brothers were killed crossing the border the other day because of the fires. And we know there's a lot more. So we need to do a lot more as a community. I really appreciate the opportunity of just saying a few words. I appreciate the work of these 2 fine gentlemen right here, and of everybody in this room, because you're all people of conscience. And we're all the same race, the human race, and it's important that we continue to act in that manner, because what's happening today is a tremendous injustice. The whole world is watching us, and we're failing. We're failing as a people. And it's important that the person that's going to make a difference is not going to be that hero that you might see on TV or you think is a hero. It's going to be that person that you see in the mirror every morning. So we're asking you to keep on supporting us, because even though we're not at Chicano Park collecting things, we have set up some sites around the county. We have one where I was this morning before we left, which is in National City at the Environmental Health Coalition, which is located at 331 Mile of Cars Way. So you can drop off donations there. We have one in the east of San Diego at the Center for Social Advocacy. 1068 Broadway in the city of El Cajon. We have one close to Chicano Park where we were earlier at the Western Association Service Workers, which is on Imperial Avenue. I don't remember the address. 3014 Imperial Avenue. And we're working with some of our brothers and sisters up north. You have some private residents up there. I know that Pilgrim Church is receiving goods and so forth. So there's lots of locations. So we're gonna do a call out right now. Avery asked me to do it. And we're still continuing with the funds. So if you wanna make a small donation, maybe they could pass a hat around or something. And this money is going to the families, like the family we were just with in Ramona, that their house burned down. And they can't go anywhere. They don't have documents. They can't go anywhere. We need to help these people. Right now what we desperately need is food. Food more than anything. A lot of people have been reading clothes, and that's great. But we need food, grocery carts, that type of things. And if you want to make a monetary donation, maybe we can pass a bag around or something. And it'll be for the Border Angels Relief Fund. We have a P.O. box set up, P.O. Box 86598. And I'll pass around some flyers which just has the address and so forth. Make sure you write both fire relief or migrant victims, something along those lines. Thank you all very much.